from the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I am your man behind the microphone, as always, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek. What's going on, sir?
Hello, people of the internet. Ha!
Hoo boy. And
it's that kind of week, fool.
Oh yes. Really, if you haven't been watching wrestling this week, then what on earth is wrong with you? You're missing out on really good stuff today.
Well, if you're not watching wrestling this week, then you're just simply not a wrestling fan.
Plain and simple.
You're watching the Olympics.
Yeah, there's so much. Why are you watching the Olympics? Wrestling is so much better now.
Hey, Michael Phelps winning gold for America.
Yeah, but he already did that. Now time to watch wrestling again.
Now he's at the 20.
That's
20, baby.
20, baby. But in the meantime, let's talk about the great week in wrestling and all its various happenings and a little bit of backstage news.
Indeed. Let us start how we always start, by peeking behind the curtain and checking in on a little backstage news. Brian's not here, so I'm not doing it.
Yes.
I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to call it by name. Brian's not here, so we're just backstage news.
So until Brian comes back from assignment, we're just going to move on in silence.
Good.
Speaking of silence, one person we're going to be hearing quite a bit of silence from is Joey Styles, who is just recently quietly released from WWE.
Was it from his request, or is it WWE simply saying, okay, now we no longer have use for you? Because I know about this, but I don't know the full details.
I don't think anybody does, since they've kind of kept it quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing for PR reasons, because the only reason that anyone can surmise right now is because of a shoot interview that was very critical on Instagram. That
he did.
Yeah, that he did on Instagram, supposedly under the WWE banner, which certain people really didn't like, so they just sort of quietly just let him go.
They really gotta lighten up, WWE. People have their opinions on certain matters. They shouldn't take it fully to heart.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly was the big taboo moment, but in the little I remember catching from the interview, I know he did mention Joey Ryan's name.
Okay.
He mentioned Joey Ryan's name as a potential prospect of someone who thinks he would fit well in the WWE, but they just can't take him right now regardless of talent because of certain other sponsors that he has.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm referring to?
No, I don't know which one you're talking about.
No, apparently Joey Ryan is sponsored by YouPorn.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, so not
Dirty.
very PG.
Rated X.
Yeah, so
Triple X.
Yeah. Even so, I don't think that's the reason he got released.
Where's Val Venus?
Far, far away from here.
You could just bring his weed over to YouPorn. Hello, ladies.
We're going to some very dangerous territory here.
Hey, I don't care. Val Venus is the greatest.
I know. I really think Val Venus is really underrated, but even so, I don't think we're going to see that character around WWE ever again, or Joey Styles for that matter, until they realize that ECW is profitable again. So I'm convinced he'll be back at some point or another.
I guess I can conclude this news by just going, oh my God!
I knew there had to be one.
At least everybody gets one.
Fool, have you ever been on a cruise?
I have, for my honeymoon.
Good. How'd you like it?
Awesome. It was a great week.
Would you say it would be better with rock bands and professional wrestling?
I want a hairy man chest on my cruise, so yeah. I actually think that would be a great addition to that.
Okay. Well,
yeah, seriously, I did win a competition called the Hairy Man Chest Competition. I still have the trophy on my desk.
The less I know about that, the better.
Oh, no. I remember telling you in full details about that, but that's beside the point.
That is beside the point, because apparently Chris Jericho has an idea. He apparently wants to run some sort of rock and wrestling cruise. And earlier this week on Twitter, he put out a survey to all of his followers, just gauging interest, seeing, hey, would you be interested, and how much would you pay, and where would you want it to go on a sort of rock and roll wrestling cruise? I swear to you, this is a real thing. I responded to this this whole thing myself.
I love that. That is actually a funny idea.
Hey,
with a little professional,
with professional wrestling matches, meet and greets, including Chris Jericho.
Rock and Wrestling Hour. Oh, nostalgia.
That reference is not for you to get. Going back to the old college days, yes. But anyway, I thought it was, if I had the money to afford it right now, I would be all over that. That sounds absolutely. Like so much fun.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, I really hope this works out. I'd love to see this come to fruition. Just whatever.
Would it be under like the WWE brand, or just in general professional wrestling, all in all?
Well, considering that this didn't really seem to be under the WWE brand, I'm inclined to under the WWE branding. I'm going to say no. That would be an independent venture on Jericho's part. But then again, given how he's sort of a good corporate soldier these days, I can't imagine that WWE wouldn't at least consider it and give it their backing if this decided to be a thing. I know that WWE has been interested in doing WWE cruises before. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it ever came to fruition. I don't think they did, but
well, of course they sort of considered it. Of course, it didn't come to fruition. Have we seen any cruise lines with professional wrestling based stuff?
Not lately, but I figured if it did happen, it would be one of those really obscure Attitude Era things that I just sort of forgot about in the midst of time.
The only thing rock and roll and wrestling that I ever think about is that one video package of Vince McMahon. Like, it was like in the 80s, Vince McMahon rocking out to some song and Hulk Hogan on the guitar.
Stand back.
Stand back. Yes, stand back. I love it.
Oh, man. But yeah, there's...
Wrestling fans of today probably won't know that reference.
Oh, I think they would, given the... They referenced it during the DX Reunion Tour.
Yeah, the DX Reunion Tour. A few years ago. I mean, wrestling fans of today. Most of them probably, but not all of them.
Oh, I think you're
like probably that one surprised. John Cena fan that pointed out the child during his AJ Styles promo last week. Yeah, that kid probably had never even heard of that. He probably doesn't even know who Hulk Hogan is.
Give him time. But anyway, moving on.
Right parenting.
Anyway, moving on. It's probably old news by now, but Ryback is officially done with WWE.
Not a tear is being shed. I like Ryback. I still want him to sign a giant Rice Krispie treat, but I'm not shedding a tear that he's gone.
Yeah, well, apparently he's got some pretty interesting ventures.
Now he's just calling himself the big guy.
Yes, he's calling himself the big guy. He registered feedmemore.com with horrible punctuation all over the place. I saw his site. The site looks like it was designed in like 2002.
Like an old MySpace page?
Not quite that bad, but maybe a couple years after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Not quite the 2010s yet. But anyway, during all of his escapades, he also apparently went on Periscope and did a brief shoot interview, just explaining his perspective, how things were going.
I want more money.
Actually, that really wasn't, according to him, that wasn't the factors of him leaving. Just
equal pay.
Yeah, it was mostly just satisfaction, or so he claimed. But yeah, it was really enlightening. He dropped a lot more F-bombs than he normally did, obviously.
Was he eating something?
He was not eating something.
Damn it.
Not this time, anyway. But there were a couple interesting little tidbits there.
Al Snow poking his head in the background. Smile. And then just slowly dizzle back out of focus.
Oh, no. I don't think Al Snow wants anything to do with him anymore. Just little funny things, like apparently he loved the whole singlet look, but apparently just the trunks look was only because Vince McMahon told him to do it.
Alright.
Yeah, just little tidbits like that. It's sort of gave a new fresh spin on the Ryback we've seen for months and months on end. I thought it was really interesting.
The Ryan Reeves that we all somewhat know.
Yeah, he sort of teased maybe going to TNA, and the big rumor with him right now is he's sort of considering doing some dates with New Japan,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just a matter of working out the dates and the pay and all that. And so who knows? Maybe I think he would be a great fit in New Japan. TNA, not so much. I'm not sold on that. But what do you think?
For some reason, I can see him going into TNA. I don't know why. I just see what's the big guy doing here.
What's Ryback doing in the Impact Zone?
What is this? What is the big guy? Ryback. Ryback, get out.
Hey,
get out.
Not my idea.
But yeah, I see him. I could see him showing up in different. Like I could see him showing up like once or twice in New Japan. But I definitely, if he was supposed to like stay in one particular company, I could just see him staying in TNA.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and being the champion a month after.
Well, I
that's the TNA. That's the TNA deal. If you are in WWE, you are a big star, and you get the world title a month after you debut.
Are you saying that because of certain other things that happened just today?
Yes, and it's actually true.
Okay, well, let's bring it up. It was just announced just recently as of this recording that our man, our guy, the patron saint of this show, Damien Sandow, a.k.a. Aaron Stevens, is officially going to TNA. I just debuted on TV as of this recording tonight. Honestly,
I'm not very thrilled.
Really?
See, with Ryback, I could see being in TNA because I just think Damien Sandow would do better staying on Independence for a good while. And I don't see him entering a sinking ship that is TNA.
I don't know. On the one hand, I definitely see where you're coming from, and that was my mentality right out of the gate.
Because my immediate response was just like, no.
But on the bright side, at least TNA's number one, he's back on TV again.
At least he's going to get a world title within a month of his debut.
One can only hope. Or we could even get a feud with Broken Matt Hardy.
Broken Matt Hardy reminds me of that Jeff Hardy shoot interview that he did to CM Punk years ago. And Matt Hardy shows up at the end talking about Lita and CM Punk. That's the broken Matt Hardy. This Matt Hardy is just, I guess it's too weird for me. And I usually am a big fan of weird.
I don't care what anyone says. I honestly
the final deletion was just mind-boggling. I was just like,
it's silly and I love it.
If I had glasses, you know what? If I had glasses, I would just tear them off and just going, what on earth did I just see? I wanted to actually walk to your house and be like, fool, I need to borrow your glasses, and just rip them off and just be like, what did I just watch?
Greatness.
I can't even... Weird.
All I'm going to say is this. Have you seen anything from EC3 lately?
I have not.
Well, he went from being a sort of a waste of talent in NXT and WWE to being
the big guy of...
He's a champion. He's
I know
he's treated as a legit main eventer, and he wrestles as such.
Yeah, I did know.
If they can do that,
I just think, did he do something new recently?
Just a very solid body of work. But think of it this way:
in general,
if they can do something with that big out of Derek Bateman of all people, just imagine what they can do with Damien Sandow.
Okay, if he's gonna stay there, stay for a year. Run the place like you own the place, and then be like, okay, now I'm going to SmackDown and being a top guy because SmackDown has maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 big names.
Yeah. Then again, supposedly I did, because it's actually on the show tonight on TNA is actually on a tape delay. So a brief little transcript of the promo he cut tonight was leaked, and supposedly he's a bit of a... He sort of ran train on WWE, saying, he finally gets the freedom to be who he is, regardless of who thinks he's too entertaining to go on the show. There's all this stuff. I really, really want to see the entire promo in full.
Oh, it's probably going to be on YouTube tomorrow.
Oh, guaranteed. I can't wait for it.
I can't wait for it either. I can't wait to hear what he has to say and just completely show why he should have been in a top spot. But of course, merging the damn world titles took all that shit away from him. Seriously, it was when he cashed in on John Cena, it was when his career really started going down the shitter. Because he had the World Heavyweight title, Money in the Bank, and they didn't need it because they were merging the damn belts.
Yeah, that's a whole
horrible timing for him. That's something we've talked about plenty of times on this show.
Yeah,
it's just...
We could talk about Damien Sandow all day on this show. We really could.
Oh, yeah. We could dedicate an entire episode to Damien Sandow.
Oh, if he starts doing really well in TNA, I'm thinking we will. But in the meantime...
Give us an actual reason to talk about TNA.
Yeah, there you go. But outside of the final deletion...
Damien Sandow. And if he were listening right now, he'd probably answer, "You're welcome."
Oh, yes, he would. Of course he would.
Damn right.
He knows us too well. But in the meantime, that wasn't the end of the shoot interviews that were going on this week, because we also got another Stone Cold podcast with Dean Ambrose.
Okay, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I watched most of it, but I fell asleep. From what I did watch...
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Certain aspects, I don't even know why. I guess it's just... with the long pauses he did, most of them, it was just like, does he seem kind of lost, or is it just... I don't know.
It's a combination of his natural laid-back personality and the sort of different method that Austin has of interviewing.
Yeah.
At least right at the beginning, when he tried to go chronologically, when he tried to start at his early memories and childhood and all that, you can tell they had sort of a rough childhood and he really didn't want to talk about it, so he just sort of gave you short, canned answers, and it was really awkward.
Yeah, you could definitely tell he was trying his best to give good answers, but not give a piece of the cake, not the whole thing.
Yeah, you could tell it was a really uncomfortable series of topics for him.
But he did open up a lot more second half.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing that sort of fell flat for me, though, was the part at the very, very end. Did you catch this?
I did not. I felt, like I said, I fell asleep and I didn't end up watching the rest.
Okay. Well, the way the whole promo ended, or the interview ended, was Austin basically called Ambrose out, saying, "Now you're at the top of the food chain. Now that you're the man, now is not the time to rest on your laurels. Now is the time to sort of push the envelope, tap back into that, Jon Moxley era personality that we all know you have."
He said the Jon Moxley era?
He didn't mention the Jon Moxley character by name.
Okay.
So, and he kept referencing like CZW, the stuff from the CZW era, and that kind of stuff. And he sort of tried to get his goat just to light a fire under him, but at the same time there was also, you could tell that Ambrose kind of got that, but at the same time he was also kind of miffed. Like, he even said that, okay, that sort of got under my craw there for a while. But I don't know, it's sort of ambiguous the way it was left. Like, there was some annoyance, like, okay, you called me out, now you're gonna call me out, and now you're gonna light a fire under me. Okay, I gotcha. But at the same time, this isn't the Attitude Era anymore. This is, TV. This isn't TV 14. It's TV PG. You're still limited by what you can do. So it's sort of like, okay, what? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't know. I really encourage anyone listening to this, including you, Fool, go back and sort of watch that ending portion again. Just see if you can sort of deconstruct what was going on there, because it seemed like there was a lot of
what Ambrose
complex
was
emotions boiling beneath the surface. Not just Ambrose, even though there was certainly a lot there. I'm talking about the ending portion specifically, just with that ending exchange, with Austin trying to light a fire underneath him, and then Ambrose just sort of being conflicted about, okay, how do I take this? How do I receive it? And is there anything I can actually take from this, or is he just out of touch with what is and is not possible with the product today and his place in it?
Okay.
And there's definitely a lot going on here, even though it's not the most clean and flowing Stone Cold podcast I've ever heard. It's definitely one of the more interesting ones, just because of the unique dynamic that Dean Ambrose and Stone Cold had in this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward, but at the same time, if you're fans of either of these guys, it makes for a very, very interesting dynamic. And it's a must-see for everybody.
Okay.
Swig of water for the working man.
Power of the clear liquid.
Power of the clear liquid. So anyway, that about covers it for this week's edition of Backstage News. Now, next up, I want to talk about a little something that I'm really shocked that we haven't talked about more on this show yet. And that is the Cruiserweight Classic.
Brian and I talked about it the first week, and then we just kind of stopped the next couple of weeks after.
Okay, let me ask you this. Did it seem like maybe there was just not a lot happening just yet when it first got started, outside of a few notable matches?
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah, it seemed like a little
It's
slow.
now getting more interested, because the first rounds are usually just the slower. Like the first round matches were more the qualifying.
Yeah, most of the big names aren't going to be having like
just because the
matches.
brackets were just there were so many guys.
Yeah, you couldn't pay attention to everybody.
Exactly. And
well, let me ask you this:
the second round is definitely one to like. Yesterday were the beginning of the second rounds, correct?
Yes.
So now it's really reaching the point where okay, these guys are actually here to kick ass, take names, and wear lucha masks.
Absolutely. And this is really, again, I had the same perception that you did, and I think a lot of other people did as well. So let me just ask you this before you go on. I know we've mentioned a couple different names. Who from all the people we've seen thus far, who really sticks out to you?
There's only two names, and I didn't watch this match in its entirety, but I did.
First round. Let's stick to the first round.
Just the first round was Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander. Those two guys I didn't, and what's his name? Davari's brother.
Arya Davari.
He was actually I didn't like his opponent.
Ho Loon.
I didn't like him. Mm-hmm. I actually wanted him to lose.
Yeah, he's
like his picture for the promo was just him having a big goofy smile. Like usually when they have those pictures of them facing each other, they're like at this charge, like ready to fight. I love
those things.
They're so funny. His wasn't. He had he was more like, okay, you guys, the people listening can't see me, but I'm standing with both my feet together and just both my arms up and just look all prissy and just big goofy smile on my face. He was just like dirt. I'm just like, oh my god, I don't like you. I don't like your face.
I don't like your face.
I don't like your face, and I want you to lose. And honestly, he was boring. He was flat out boring. Yeah. And then once their match ended, nobody cared.
Yeah,
he had little to no reaction. He was going around like, huh?
Yeah.
Anyone?
He seemed a little out of his element. I have to admit, I did like the...
Davari actually was the better... He was the classic heel.
Yeah, he was a lot more polished.
He had more charisma. He was more polished. And he was actually carrying the match. And he was pulling a lot of heel tendencies, like kicking him in the back of the head and being your typical heel. I'm just like, I like this guy. And then, of course, he loses. God damn it.
Well... Yeah, I've got a feeling that Ho Loon is going to be eliminated in the next round.
I hope so. I even said that when I was talking with Brian about it on the first episode of the Cruiserweight Classic. I hope he gets annihilated in the second round.
Yeah, well, he is facing Noam Dar, so I'm...
Yeah.
And Noam Dar's stock is rising. I'm hearing a lot more about this guy especially since WCPW and now this. I'm convinced there's something in for him.
He was in WCPW?
Yeah, that's actually where I first... he was on their first show, I believe. That's actually where I first heard about him.
Oh, now I gotta actually... Because I like what culture, so I'm just like...
WCPW is actually shaping up to be really, really good.
Like, Sandow showed up on one episode.
And then they just got Jim Ross.
And they got... I just saw the announcement of Jim Ross, and I knew about Kurt Angle. I'm just like, nice, good for these guys.
I know, really. This is way better than I think anybody ever expected.
Makes me want to go to the UK and actually meet these guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Especially King Ross. King Ross.
Okay, now... While we're still talking about the new guys, I do have to mention one other name. Of course, Kota Ibushi, I've been a big fan of ever since Wrestle Kingdom 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Zack Sabre Jr. I just saw for the first time during the first round matches. I was expecting to be a little tiny flippy guy. I did not expect that many submissions out of that sort of a smaller, wiry guy.
I'm wiry.
I know. I thought it was kind of cool.
I like it.
But the biggest surprise was one Mr. Jack Gallagher.
Which one is he?
The one with the funky mustache that looks like he's the third member of the Vaudevillains. British guy. Can
you bring up a picture? Because the name's not ringing a bell to me.
Yeah.
Maybe a picture of him, because they talked about him a lot.
Yeah, Jack Gallagher. Just to give you for example, he's got sort of that curly mustache and sort of an old school British look about him. He had a really, really good opening match. He actually ended up hitting one of the crispest corner drop kicks to the face I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
Gallagher. Yeah, one of the crispest corner drop kicks I've ever seen in my life. The guy's great, and he's got a natural charisma all his own. Okay, I brought up his picture.
Oh yeah, I recognize him.
He's got a unique look too, so you do not.
God, he's as pale as Sheamus.
Yeah, but then again, he also carries himself really well. Like, he just showed up on the latest episode of NXT, and he was the only one in like a full 3-piece suit, just looking like a proper British gentleman.
That's
clapping
awesome.
like a proper British gentleman. He plays a better vaudevillain than any of the vaudevillains. I'm convinced. Sorry, Aiden English. Sorry, Simon Gotch. But I love you guys, but this guy just seems like the real deal in comparison. Especially since he's a great submission wrestler and all that stuff, too.
Well...
And he's actually got a winning MMA record.
The only real difference I can really say with the vaudevillains is, like... Well, I don't know anything about Jack Gallagher, but is he promoting himself kind of like a circus performer?
Nah, not quite in the same thing.
Because I would say that's the difference with the vaudevillains. Their characters are circus strongmen.
Right. That's more.
Like, I could see them coming out with those. I could see them coming out with those big tricycles that you see strongmen usually have. You know, those big wheeled tricycles.
Yeah,
that's how they should come out for WrestleMania.
Yeah,
this
Jack
year.
Gallagher seems like.
Yes.
Don't laugh; they'll probably do it.
Oh, I'm laughing because I want to see it happen.
Anyway, but no, Jack Gallagher is less cartoony, more like legit old school British throwback tough guy.
So pretty much, it's what Wade Barrett was, just older time, like 1900s fighter.
Yeah, imagine a version of Wade Barrett from back then.
Okay.
And it's awesome. If you haven't seen this match yet, I definitely recommend it.
Speaking of Wade Barrett, did you read the interview he had? About, like, how he was actually all in for the idea of them turning him babyface? Or him wanting to turn babyface with the bad news gimmick?
And what happened?
They just didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And,
there's a lot of things that the WWE aren't doing.
And
which they should.
For what he said, the League of Nations was only made to push Roman Reigns.
Of course it was.
And that is the biggest sin for WWE to do. Because I've said it before. I know I'm going off topic, but I'll just quickly say the League of Nations was a great idea. They just didn't know what to do with it. The fact that Wade Barrett said that they were only made to push Roman Reigns is something that should not have happened.
Yeah, there was no thought there in it at all.
Like it had the potential to be something really great. They didn't see that, and they did their own stupid idea with it.
Yeah, but then again,
such a goddamn shame.
Yeah, but then again, with something like that, I have a hard time being mad when the stuff that we're getting now is this good. With the Cruiserweight Classic, this one definitely has a whole, World Warrior Street Fighter feel, where like you got everyone from all these different weird characters from all these different.
Oh no, you're
countries.
you're just saying that because of like the little intros video packages.
Yeah, I am.
It is such a cartoon. It is hilarious,
and it's awesome. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh my god! It just when I remember first seeing it, I'm like, God, this is just so weird. But I do like it.
I know.
It's so crazy.
It's fresh, if nothing else.
It's very fresh.
And not for
It looked
nothing,
like something that could show up with the Saturday Morning Slam.
And you know what? Since it's just a bunch of like straight up wrestling, no like vulgarities or anything like that, that could work. But anyway, like we were saying before, this week we had the first of the second round matches, and this is where everything is getting really interesting. But you know what's funny? With the first round matches, we had a whole bunch of relatively short matches in really quick succession. So this week we only got 2 matches on the CWC coverage.
Mm-hmm.
The first match was Tajiri versus Grand Metalik.
I like Grand Metalik, minus the fact that his mask fell off his first round.
Yes,
and he had to like, they had to turn the camera away so he could put it back on.
Yeah, well, this one.
Did Grand Metalik drop Tajiri on his head? Because I know he won. Because I read the results.
Yes, spoilers, Grand Metalik wins and he's advancing. I didn't catch that, but honestly, the first thing I noticed in the match was when Tajiri came out, he shaved his beard. I couldn't help but think one thing. Wow, without the facial hair, Tajiri looks like a Asian Pee Wee Herman. I couldn't tell if he was prepared to kick someone in the face or get ready to yell for the secret word. Seriously, rewatch the footage. Then tell me if he does not look like an Asian Pee Wee Herman.
Now I could just see him. Good morning, Pee Wee. Can I have some Mr. T cereal?
And now I want some Mr. T cereal.
I pity the fool.
Oh boy. But yeah, it was still great to see Tajiri again. And
paging Mr. Tajiri. Mr. Tajiri, you have a telephone call at the front desk.
Oh, brother. But yeah, Grand Metalik went over. He looked like $1 million. This was a really fun match. But that was also soon to be eclipsed by what would be universally declared as a match of the year contender. Easy 5 stars. Kota Ibushi versus Cedric. I am a future star. Hire me now, Triple H. Alexander.
And from what happened after the match with Triple H saying, good job.
Yes.
I endorse you.
Yes. The crowd was chanting his name. He was getting cheered like crazy. And then Triple H came out and raised his hand, pat him on the back, and basically gave him an endorsement, all while the crowd was chanting, "Hi, please hire Cedric." Or
I could just say it right now. Kota Ibushi is winning the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah, after that performance,
he's just even from the first round, even from when he was first announced, I'm like, he's taking it. He's one of the biggest names in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm convinced that there's a couple other. I know he's sort of the front runner to win in a lot of people's eyes. I know he's certainly a favorite.
In my eyes, he is. Yeah.
I know he's certainly a favorite of mine to win. But I think there's a couple other people who might be able to take that. But again, we'll cover that as they're up and they happen.
And I'm not just saying it because Ibushi's opponent in the first round was a Samoan, related to Roman Reigns, and God, that match wasn't that great.
Yeah.
I just remember the match was okay, it was decent, but all I can remember about this one is I wanted Ibushi to win and I wanted the Samoan to lose. Just because
and you got that.
Just because he's a Samoan. And he got that, and it made me a happy scholar.
Oh yes. But I'll tell you what, again, I cannot recommend this enough. If you have not seen this match yet, what are you waiting for? go to the WWE Network now. Watch this latest episode of the Cruiserweight Classic. You deserve it to yourself as a wrestling fan to see the shining star of New Japan, Kota Ibushi, versus the best wrestler I've never heard of, Cedric Alexander. Seriously,
Cedric
great.
Alexander. His match was just so much fun.
Yeah. That is just pure wrestling goodness right there.
And obviously, most of these guys are going to show up for the Cruiserweight division whenever that happens to show up on Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Did they give an official announcement to that?
I don't remember catching one, no.
Because I just remember my biggest complaint with what's going on with like Raw and SmackDown right now is that I feel the women's division should have went to SmackDown. Like the whole division should have went on SmackDown. And the cruiserweights should be on Raw.
Yeah.
Or if anything, switch them around, whichever they want to do. Either they can be on either show. Just to feel like with them making a new women's championship, and they're now bringing in the cruiserweight title. There's just now so many titles that they're adding in. Like for SmackDown, like I said, a new women's title, a new tag team titles. Which tag team titles I understand. Mm-hmm. But the women's title, it's just like, do we really need another women's belt?
Well, if we're going to have show-specific pay-per-views and all that, I'm going to say maybe it could work. But again, I'm personally not going to have much until we actually see how it develops at the time.
It's just, I feel it kind of unnecessary for Raw to have 5 titles and SmackDown to have 4.
I totally agree with you, but then again...
Which they can get rid of that 5th title by moving an entire division to another show, 4 and 4. Mm-hmm. Which would make sense. They would have the big belt, the secondary belt, the separate division belt, and the tag titles. It makes sense. Having 2 separate versions of the same title, specifically the women's championship, just doesn't make sense. In my opinion, it doesn't.
I was never a big fan of splitting the titles either, but at the same time, this is a whole new era. There seem to be new ideas at foot here, and they seem to be a lot more polished than they were the first time around. So, I'm not a big fan of the idea in principle, but I don't know. It still seems promising, but again, we'll see how it goes.
And if they actually do have the Universal title just be a WWE logo, but instead of World Heavyweight Championship, just Universal Championship, I'm going to be pissed off at that too. Yeah. Because that's what they've been saying, that the designs for the world titles is going to be. The Raw is going to be a red belt that says Universal Champion, and SmackDown is just going to be a blue belt saying World Heavyweight Champion. I'm just like, where's the creativity in that?
I don't care about creativity so much I do as equal prestige. Like last time we had one belt deliberately meaning way, way more than the other, which is the main reason why I didn't like that. But
the difference is I didn't like what they were doing with the big gold belt, but I love the big gold. I love the idea of the big gold belt, because really looking at it, it is supposed to be the equivalent. Actually, it should be more than the WWE Championship.
True, but that's also not what we got.
It is not what we got at the end. And, of course, it's our lack of faith in WWE.
Well, that's the result anyway. But, anyway, we could talk about this that's another topic that we can go on and on forever. Just bring it back to the Cruiserweight Classic and just bring things full circle. At the end of the show, they did advertise a whole bunch of second round matches that really look really, really good. Least of which not being Brian Kendrick versus Tony Nese. Mm-hmm. The Brian Kendrick.
So. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. This one, mm-hmm. We all know Brian Kendrick.
Yes. And then later, let's see. I believe we also have next week Noam Dar versus your boy Ho Ho Loon.
Whoop-dee. Who's he facing?
Noam Dar.
Go Noam Dar.
Yes.
I don't care. Noam Dar for the win.
Like I said, I'm pretty much convinced that Noam Dar is going to take it next week.
He damn well better.
Elsewhere, we're going to have T.J. Perkins versus Johnny Gargano.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably going to be in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Also, 2 weeks from now, we're going to have Lindsay Dorado versus Rich Swann, which is going to be really interesting.
Oh, excuse me.
Drew Gulak versus Jack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. And then, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the main event next week, we've got Akira Tozawa versus my boy Jack Gallagher.
I could see that being the main event.
Oh, yeah. I want to see it so bad. If I was a betting man, I'd put money on Jack Gallagher to win. So he can face Grand Metalik in the next round.
And take him out, most likely. I could see Grand Metalik being taken out the third round.
In the semifinal, all I want Jack Gallagher to meet up with Zack Sabre Jr. in the semifinals and just have like a crazy technical wrestling match. That'll be a match worth watching. Yeah, they have to do it.
Yeah,
if they don't do that, I will be absolutely shocked
and disappointed.
I will only be disappointed if it does not happen.
That's what you just said. If it doesn't happen, you will be shocked. And then I added, and disappointed.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I thought you were talking about... Never mind. I misread you. Never mind.
Damn right you did.
Yes, indeedy.
Clean those glasses and read my book.
You don't have a book. Shut up.
Shut up.
Anyway, moving on. NXT... Yeah, there was, like I said before, the Cruiserweight guys, they did make a guest appearance, just sort of taking in the sights. Of course, my boy, Mr. Dapper Jack Gallagher's showing up in a three-piece suit, like a proper English gentleman that he is. And did you see any of NXT this week?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What'd you think of that Asuka Bayley signing?
I got nothing from it. I'm looking forward to the match. I just got nothing from it.
Yeah, honestly, I was a little surprised to see that much savagery out of Bayley leading up to something.
Oh, honestly, I got more of a reaction of Nakamura and Samoa Joe. That's what I got more out of.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see Nakamura come out for like a distraction segment at the end, because it didn't really seem like his style with him just sort of goading Joe into
actually, I thought it was brilliant.
Like a meathead. Oh man,
I loved it.
I know, I liked it a lot more than I thought it would.
I honestly couldn't stop laughing. I'm just like, yes, that is great. Hello,
buying tickets.
It's like, oh, you're so cute. It's like, what did you say? It's like,
I am not cute.
I am not cute. You know what I mean. Let go of me. Rabble. Ooh.
Rabble.
It cracked me up.
In the meantime, there is one other thing that really I was a little bit surprised by. The promo vignettes for Ember Moon.
I'm sorry. When I saw this, you know what the first thing that popped into my mind
was? That
her taking off that mask, and it's Melina.
I was gonna say that she sort of gave me a Katana vibe with that mask.
Oh no, I got more. She was wearing pink. Or like a purplish pink mask. I got more Melina out of that. I just, especially with her eyes glowing at the end of that package, I'm just like, she's gonna cover it, and you're just gonna see a big fangy grin on her face.
I would love it if they did that, but I've also seen Athena without completely maskless, and she's actually kind of cute. So I can definitely see her if Bayley doesn't take the women's title at TakeOver, which honestly I don't think she will.
I don't think she will either.
And then she'll be bumped up to the main roster.
This is her main. This is her main roster send off match.
Yeah. If anything, with the way they're building up Ember Moon,
finally,
I can see this being. I can see them building her up into the big rival for Asuka, someone that can actually take her down.
Mm-hmm.
And then they build her up, they feed her some jobbers, and then eventually they can build up into a big monster mash, and then it'll be great, and it'll be, Ember Moon versus Asuka, and then whoever loses can just be bumped up to the main roster.
I don't know why, but I'm just getting a rendition of like a Stardust theme for Ember Moon.
It's probably the whole space thing with the moon in the title. Moon, star, whatever.
And I just hear like Stardust, Goldust, dun 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 dun, just like a rendition of it.
Yeah, I admit I've heard of Athena before. I've seen her wrestle a little bit, so the girl's definitely got the goods. I'm just glad they're really making a real menacing vibe from her. Yeah, so it's not just the Asuka show all day. Plus also Bayley, who is just biding her time until her brush up to the main roster, which we all know is happening. So either way, it's one of those little things that sort of, keep me watching. I really like it. In the meantime, there were also a couple little tidbits here and there from Raw and SmackDown. First up, Raw. I do have to make mention of that little Finn Balor promo. That was glorious.
You can't talk about Raw without bringing up that awesome Finn Balor promo.
That was the highlight of the entire show for me personally.
It was the best. It was the best part, and I like how he was just going so back on the his wow, why am I drawing
the origins of his name?
The origins of his name, his history. I love it. I was like, it's giving him full depth to his character, and now Seth Rollins is calling out the Demon.
Bad idea, buddy.
Oh, I think I said this when I was watching it with friends. I can see. I don't know if it's gonna be like next week or whatever. I see Finn Balor having a little interaction with Kane backstage, kind of a passing the torch from one demon to another.
Now that would be fun if they do it right.
Oh, and they can do it right because Finn Balor is going up against Seth Rollins, and we know Kane's history with Seth Rollins. So having Kane say you can take him out from one demon to another. You can take Seth Rollins out. You can be the first Universal Champion. So it fits so well. It's a perfectly designed puzzle, and that's what I want to see.
Yeah, if they handle this right, they can make Finn Balor an absolute monster superstar. No question about it.
Hell, I could see it happening on this Raw, like after his altercation with Seth Rollins. I could see him, like, if he actually is going to come out with the demon makeup, which, honestly, they'll probably save it for SummerSlam if they do.
Definitely.
So it'll probably just be a video package or something. It's just, with him calling out the demon, it's just like, oh, big tease. Oh, we're the dangly key. WWE's dangling the keys. Oh, you can't get it? Oh, sorry. Or, I guess for older audience like this, here's a $20 bill. Here's a $20 bill. Oh, no, you're so close to getting it, but I'm so sorry. You're not going to get it this time. I'm sorry.
No, I'm convinced that they know what they've got with Finn Balor, and I'm convinced that at SummerSlam, he's going to become the first champion.
I think he's going to be the first champion as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, the prediction show is next week, but it's. I think
you can call it from a mile away.
Yeah. Hell, I will be shocked if they give it to Seth Rollins.
As will I. But in the meantime,
I have a feeling that Brian's gonna pick Seth Rollins just to be a douche,
contrarian,
or the master of douchery, which we all know he is.
Speaking of douchery, okay, that really didn't work for what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what I know is a main event that you enjoyed, with your boy Cesaro taking on Rusev in the main event of Raw. I know you had a little something to say about this.
Oh, yeah. I hated it.
Did you really?
Yes, Cesaro may have been in the main event, but it's just them throwing away the championship match that he was promised. The only thing that I really got out of it is that they're continuing this whole, that him being pissed off that he's on Raw and he wants to be on SmackDown, which, a good thing that they had Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan goes, Cesaro, I think you're being underutilized on Raw. I was like, oh, yes, they're actually going to do something with him being unhappy. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to say this right now. I think Cesaro is going to be the first guy to jump ship.
It certainly seems to be going that way, doesn't it?
He's going to be the first. He's going to be the first jumper of the post brand split. And hell, I would have him over to SmackDown, win the Intercontinental Championship, and then my dream has come true.
There you go.
There you go.
Now he's a happy scholar.
Then I'll just be a happy scholar on Cloud 9. But yeah, I think Cesaro is definitely, I just didn't like that it's once again putting him in another title match and losing. it's getting repetitive, and it's just getting so ridiculous. It's underutilizing Cesaro.
Which to me is honestly kind of the reason why I think they did this main event title shot the way that they did it, just so you can get out of the way, and then you can immediately move him to SmackDown and to something better.
I hope so. I really do. I hope he jumps like after SummerSlam. I'm pretty much taking what I did with the Shelton Benjamin idea, that no matter Miz is losing the Intercontinental title, the SmackDown after SummerSlam. He's going to beat Apollo Crews, and he's losing the title that night. At first, it was going to be a returning Shelton Benjamin, but because of his injury, his return is going to be postponed.
At least, so in other words, there is some stopping him now.
Yeah, there is some stopping him. Yeah. Or in this case, there's some stopping him. Ow!
Meanwhile,
but I see now. I really want to see, like, I am the best. There's no one back there in the SmackDown locker room that can take my Intercontinental Championship. All of a sudden, we just hear Beedoo, or going Minions, Beedo, 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 because Universal Championship, Beedo, Beedo.
Oh boy!
I'm not letting that go. I'm not letting that go. But yeah, Beedoo, Beeboo, Beeboop, and then he wins the Intercontinental Champion, and I'll be on cloud 9, and I would just be looking so happy, and dreams really do come true in the WWE.
How are you doing that with your neck, sir?
I don't know, and it really hurts. Oh! Okay, I'm good.
Speaking of SmackDown and happiness, and it really hurts, there's
okay.
There's only one thing I really feel like discussing on SmackDown this week.
Heath Slater losing, and like, oh, we should give him a contract. Screw you guys! I don't want your It's like, oh, I'm the hottest free agent. You guys don't respect me. Should we told him we were giving him a contract?
What? Actually, no, that's not it. I'm here to talk about something even better.
American Alpha just showing that there is no real legit tag team division on SmackDown.
Even better than that.
Actually, I couldn't think of anything I couldn't put that in the category as better, but...
Oh, yes. Something way better. One of the most entertaining and interesting gimmicks that SmackDown has right now. I am, of course, talking about Eva Marie. Okay. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I honestly love what they're doing with her. It's so ridiculous and so, like, Spinal Tap that I honestly love it. It's a perfect gimmick for someone like her, who has the most punchable face of any so-called hot chicks out there. It's a ridiculous gimmick. No one can do it better than her. It's the most hateable thing in the world, and I'm just amazed that they're finally making chicken salad out of this.
What I like about the Eva Marie stuff, because I don't know what else to call it.
No, stuff works.
The stuff is that what they're doing something right with what they've been wanting to do with Eva Marie from the beginning. They want to exploit her with like crazy because she's red and beautiful and God amazing.
Evil Jessica Rabbit.
I'm not going to call her that.
Well, I will.
No, she's not evil Jessica Rabbit. She's not bad. She's not even drawn that way. Ha 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 ha.
She'd probably be more attractive if she was.
But what I like about it is, like, they're probably doing what they were going to do the whole time, but they're doing it in a heel fashion.
And you know what?
And it actually is working. It's not heat because we hate her, we hate her. They want you to hate her.
Exactly. They're doing what they should have been doing all along with Roman Reigns.
I guess the only real downside is this is going to end eventually. She's actually going to have a match, and then it'll just be. Hopefully they'll just continue with it with actual matches, but there's only so much fire this lantern can burn.
Right, and I'm sure that there's other things, other really weird situations that you can find yourself in. I honestly, before this is all out, I wanted to pull a WCW era Chris Jericho gimmick and just have her trying to find her way to the ring and just end up getting lost. Kind of like when he tried to face Goldberg and it just ended up getting lost on the way to the ring. And it just stretched it out over like several vignettes. Didn't they stretch that whole thing over several vignettes and like it would just be like random scenes all across Monday Nitro about him just roaming around the backside trying to find the ring? I want to see something like that. There's so many different possibilities for comedy gold with Eva Marie now that they're doing something like this that honestly I never thought I'd say this, but I will tune in to SmackDown to see an Eva Marie segment. I never thought I'd hear myself say those words. I
still won't say those words. And I'm sticking to that. Because
there's still more build and more payoff to come.
Like I said, there's only so much more they can do with this. She will eventually have to wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully all the training she did would lead to something. I've been hearing that even though she had a lot of training, she still sucks. Eventually, this is like this fine instrument is going to run its course.
But you know what? Until it does, I'm still enjoying the ride.
And I hope Bray Wyatt gets into the title match. I really want them to make it a triple threat.
As do I.
Because seriously, the title picture right now on SmackDown, I can't get enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that it for SmackDown discussion?
That's pretty much it.
Because I only got 2 Scholars Quick Talk.
Okay, let's go into it. Scholars Quick Talk.
One, I guess this one's specifically for Raw. Who will end their squash matches first? Nia Jax or Braun Strowman?
I'm going to say Nia Jax because they can basically... I'm not a big fan of her squash matches as much as I am Braun Strowman's. And I feel like she can match up a lot easier with some of the current women that they have on the roster as opposed to Braun Strowman with some of the guys with the way he's been booked. There may need to be a little bit more build in order to develop a credible threat.
What I like about the Braun Strowman squash matches is that you're giving time to actually know the local competitors.
Yeah, and again, it's more
like
engaging.
This one guy, the guy this past week. I forgot. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
So am I. I got
when he did they actually did a backstage interview. The man actually had an entrance with generic themes, with a generic theme song.
But it was an entrance all the same.
It was an entrance in his backstage segment with Byron Saxton. He's just like, "What are your thoughts?" He didn't know. He just was like. He looked like he was about to cry.
Yes, he did.
And of course, he did. He was the smart one and tried to bail, and then he got his ass kicked because he got caught.
Hey, not for nothing, it still told a good story.
What do you think of Braun Strowman's reverse choke slam?
I think it's a nice little variation. It's a big power move. It's distinct. It works well for him.
It's just very hard to see actual main roster talent going to that one.
I can see it easier than some other finishers I've seen over the years.
Speaking of finishers, what's your thoughts on Dolph Ziggler actually making the super kick his finishing move? The zigzag's now a special move.
I don't like it.
Or a signature move. I actually do.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. It's a lot more credible finishing move than the zigzag.
I beg to differ with you. To me, the super kick is and must always be, as far as finishing moves go, it's gotta be Shawn Michaels' move. The only way the someone like the Young Bucks can get away with it, or the Usos, is just because they use it in tandem, like 2 super kicks in one. So, I don't know, it just falls flat for me.
Because I see Dolph Ziggler as a newer Shawn Michaels. There was even a sign on SmackDown saying, "Give Dolph Ziggler some diesel." I'm just like, it's fitting perfectly. And even like from his entrance to his style, I just see Shawn Michaels in Dolph Ziggler. I don't care if other people do or don't, or have their own personal feelings of Dolph Ziggler. I still see him as a credible main eventer.
Well, again, I'll go into this in greater detail during our prediction show next week.
Like I said, you can't have a credible main eventer and have a finishing move like the zigzag.
Honestly,
I'm sorry. I do see that more as a signature move than.
Well, I still disagree. But the main point I want to leave off with is this, and again, I'll go on in the greater detail next week. But it's not that I don't see the capability in someone like Dolph Ziggler. It's just that they've been sort of teasing this thing for years and years now. That after a while, I'm just not convinced that they're actually going to pull the trigger. If they do, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But until that day comes, I don't know what the general consensus is with Dolph in the back. That's just not something we're going to know.
All right, and the other Scholars Quick Talk is pretty much the one Quick Talk that's going to be on every show from now on. Which was the better show, Raw or SmackDown? It's something now I'm going to ask every week.
Cruiserweight Classic.
No, of Raw and SmackDown.
That's the only answer I can give. Honestly, I'm gonna.
I'm saying they're the televised show.
I'm aware. I know what you're getting at, but I'm saying it's honestly. My honest opinion is I'm not really too 100% pleased with either of them. That being said, I'm going to say Raw just because of the Finn Balor promo alone. That's the only thing that tops it off. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with SmackDown. I had a better time with the show in its entirety. I will agree. The Finn Balor segment was the highlight of Raw, and the fact that Cesaro was the main event. But I'm sorry, from having the Lana Rusev segment, like the whole wedding segment, to them booing, now you're just using their wedding as a way to have people hate you. From a guy who actually did get married, having someone literally boo actual photos of my wedding kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Let's say I go to a live performance, and first thing I talk about my wedding day, and I show a few pictures. If people start booing my wedding,
for some reason I thought you said that people actually did do that to you.
Oh no, I'm saying
did I miss something here.
I'm just pretty much saying if that's what happened, which is what happened with Lana and Rusev, that kind of would piss me off a bit. It's like I don't want. It's like now it's just not here for your disapproval and all that. It's like to hell with you guys. Who gives a shit about what you think? Yeah. So at that point, it actually got me angry, and I'm just like, at some points of Raw, I'm just like, some were good, some were bad, but I had more fun with SmackDown.
Yeah. Again, as far as that goes, I'm convinced that that's only because you're only working with a wrestling crowd, and they're used to having very distinct,
Plus P Diddy.
Yeah, and plus you're talking about gimmicks, and you're including and all that. It's not as clean and obvious as all that. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. Many different things to talk about.
I'll just kick that soapbox off from under you.
Well, too bad. I already stepped off it, so there.
I already kicked it, so I win.
I didn't realize we were 8. But you know who's not 8, hopefully?
We're big kids.
We're big kids. And apparently so are you. We want to know what you think. Which was the better show, Raw or SmackDown? What'd you think of the Rusev-Lana wedding cake face thing? And more importantly, who do you think is going to win the Cruiserweight Classic? We want to know. So, of course, get in touch with us all the common ways. Leave us a comment on this video. If you like what you hear, give us a little thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to hear more every single week. Or you can also follow us on our Facebook page. Just run a search under the Scholars of Wrestling Show for all of our discussions, posts, and all of our episode highlights. And of course, if you want to join the live conversations, you can also follow us on our Twitter machine handles. You can follow our main account at ScholarsOW. Fool, where can they reach you at?
You can find me at the Avataric.
And you can reach Scholar Brian at Atomic Beanpole.
Atomic Beanpole!
And you can reach me at I'm Robbie Rage. I am Robbie Rage, all one word.
I am Thor. You Thor?
Well, it hurts. So join the conversation. We'll see you every single week. In the meantime, you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
See you next week for the pay-per-view SummerSlam.
and don't get your face crammed in cake.
Ah.